welcome to another edition of the True Patriot Outfitters podcast. It's me, Gene. How the heck are you all doing? We have another episode coming here in our season 4 format that we're breaking out here, man. We're recording this one right now. Not sure if it'll air before Christmas, after Christmas, somewhere in that ballpark there, but we're recording before Christmas, so we're leading up to it. Hope you guys are at this time are getting closer in. Lots of busy stuff going on that time of year. A quick reminder also, during the holiday seasons, before, after, the whole shebang there, it is a great time of the year for a lot of friends and family, this and that. But it's also can be a really, really tough time of the year for certain members of our community. If you know of individuals out there that you're not sure if they've got a whole lot of family connections, this and that, do yourself a favor, do yourself a solid, and reach out to that person. See how they're doing. Go out to lunch with them. Invite them over for Christmas cookies, or invite them over to watch a Christmas movie. Just call them, check in on them, see how they're doing, man. That can go a long, long way. Reminding people that they're important to us this time of the year and all the year long there. And so while the season can be a ton of fun for lots, others it can be kind of challenging. So if you know of individuals out there that could use a phone call, don't wait. Don't just throw a text, throw a phone call. And have a chat with them, see how they're doing. Tonight's episode being brought to you by the Romans Warrior Foundation and all of its many divisions out there. Check them out, romanswarriorfoundation.org. If you want to donate to a specific donation or division out there, just dog-ear your donation to that. Learn all about the Romans Warrior Foundation, the healing efforts and things that we do out there with the foundation, from communities to individuals, and literally from coast to coast throughout the entire U.S. If you got something in your neck of the woods that you think would be an awesome destination for our Stop 22 or the Wall or the Field Ops Division, anything along those lines, hit us up, man. Let us know. We'll see if we can work something out and get into your community as well. All right. So, staying true to the new format, we wanted to start highlighting a lot more of the United States active military and veteran kayak anglers that are out there. I've told you guys this before, is that there is a ton of these warfighters that are out there that have got the bug and got addicted to kayak fishing all over the U.S., and it's not by mistake. And so I thought, what better way for this next season here is to start highlighting a lot of these guys. Well, this next guy coming to us here is coming out of Colorado Springs, Colorado here. I had the pleasure of meeting him out here and fishing with him on several of our stuff through the CKB. He's active with the CKFC and throughout. United States Army veteran, Mr. Nic Wetherill. Nic, welcome to the show, my friend. And
well, hello.
Where are you? There you are. All right, now I got you.
Hey, how's it going, Gene?
Good, brother. How about you?
Good.
So you saw my technical difficulties there as I was trying to get...
Oh, yeah, in the green room while you were doing the intro, I spilled stuff all over me, so just figures. That's how we do it.
That's right. That's right. Well, listen, man. So, this is your first chance to get on a podcast, so this is super cool. It's we're pretty relaxed, like we were talking. We got like 13 consistent viewers running around out there. So. But they're damn loyal, though. I'll tell you that they stick with us there, and we do actually see a lot more views, though. People come back and view the stuff later down the line, so that's encouraging. And so we've been at it a while and long enough here, but. Yeah, dude. So you and I met. Was it this season or last season when we first met?
This season.
It was this season. That's right. I down at Red. I had seen you out there, but Red Willow specifically is where we first had a chance to shoot the breeze and shoot a cud.
Yeah, in a Walmart in McCook, Nebraska, I think.
That's right.
You were getting food for the trip. Some of those old Uncrustables.
Damn straight.
That's your move, right? So
always, dog, always. I go after them Uncrustables, man. That's right. And you had come up, and you were looking at me, and you had said this is the first time this has ever happened for me. You said that hey man, I recognize you from the podcast there. And I'm like,
Yeah,
holy crap, the podcast is working. But
at
then I
least for
found
me.
out, yeah, then I found out you're from Colorado and you were there for CKV. And I was like, oh, not just somebody in McCook, that happened to be watching.
Yeah, you got to celebrate those small wins though. So it's good. Take it.
Hell yes, hell yes. So yeah, man. So we talked about this beforehand here, and you know what we're all about. We've been out buzzing around doing stuff. You are officially now retired, Sergeant First Class,
Ma'am.
United States Army. So again, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Now, did you were you ever active duty here in the state of Colorado? Were you at Fort Carson?
I was that's what brought me here was I got orders for Fort Carson for my second duty station, and I was in 1-3 ACR before they moved here in Colorado Springs, Fort Carson.
Nice.
And that
Where
was
are you-
in '99, I think, is when I came here.
Oh wow! So yeah, you've been here a hot minute.
Right.
Where are you? Where were you originally from? Where were you born?
I'm from a really small town in Michigan.
All right, up north.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. So southeast Michigan, kind of around that Battle Creek, Kalamazoo area.
Nice. There's been an angler or two come out of Kalamazoo.
Yes. Yes, there have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Guy
Yeah,
kinda
you know
knows what
him.
he's doing. Yeah.
Right?
I
Tim
have
Van
met him.
Sickler?
Van Sickler. That's
Yeah,
right.
because Van Sickler comes out of Kalamazoo. So,
Are you serious?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Oddly enough, we ran into each other on the water at one of the CKFC events, Colorado Kayak Fishing Club.
Yep.
And just got to talking, and he's like, oh, I'm from Michigan. Oh, me too. And then, yeah, who knows? He's from 20 minutes from where I grew up.
Well, there just so happens to be another guy that a few people have maybe heard of also.
Yeah.
Kevin Van
KBD,
Dam.
maybe?
Yeah. So what is it with the Van names? Van Dam, Van Sickler. These guys are all, it's like a pedigree of fishing comes with it.
Well, yeah, that's why Van Sickler comes in and kicks our butts a lot of the time.
Exactly.
Have to call him TVS.
TVS. I don't know if that one's going to work. That almost sounds communicable.
I think either way, if you catch it, you're good. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's. I'm going to see if we can reach out and get Tim to come, because he's also now he's Navy though, right? Is that right?
Air Force.
Air Force. That's what it was. Yeah.
And I believe he retired as well.
That's outstanding. Yeah, we'll see if we can get him in here. That guy is like, luck of, the Irish. My Lord, 2 years back to back, winning kayaks, from the CKFC. Not even at the banquet, he draws the name and wins them.
And I think he hit Rookie of the Year or something too.
That one at least he earned. You know what I mean? I mean, he went through and
Well, and I
picked that
think
off.
that's 3 boats.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I don't know that for a fact, but like, I know he won that one this year. They pulled his name. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. He got the Hobie last year, and I think he got another Hobie this year. That's not a bad gig, man. If you can
Old Town.
win it.
I think it was an Old Town that he won this year.
Old Town this year. That's right. So yeah, he's going the whole gamut, running around it. That's pretty awesome. Good stuff. So, talk to us, man. When you first enlisted in the Army in what, 1998? Is that when it was?
96.
96. Nice. And was that so? We're talking, post Desert Storm.
Yep.
But still, obviously, things were not ever really quiet. All in all, quiet in the media, but behind the scenes, things were still in kind of a tense situation out there. What was that like?
Well, for me, it was a lot of. I joined in '96. I was 17. Went to my first duty station after basic training in AIT. I got stationed in Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, for my first duty station,
Wow.
which was really nice. Yep.
Yeah.
I was in 121 Infantry. I was a gimlet. I was in Charlie Company, and I was just a Joe. I was a Lem Bravo, just a straight private. Nothing fancy. Nothing. Guys, just a, Army dude's a dirty leg. But that place was great. Tons of great leaders. just great people. I got really lucky. I was surrounded by really good people early in my career, and leading out. That's not always the case. Unfortunately, some guys just weren't doing it back then. But I mean, it was Cold War. We were still calling targets Crazy Ivans and stuff back then.
Right,
They got a different name for it now, but it was much different. But yeah, that was in 96, 99, went to Colorado. Ended up changing my MOS. I became a scout. So I was a heavy scout here at 13 ACR at Fort Carson. And then I ended up getting out of the Army off of the active duty side after 6 years and change. Joined the reserves. This was just after 9/11. And if I'm going too fast, feel free to slow me down. But
no, you're perfect.
This was just after 9/11. I got orders to Korea from my branch and was like, nope, I'm not going to Korea. Got out, decided to join the reserves, which I'm sure we'll get there, but it was a little bit different. And then I got mobbed for years in support of. I was down in Fort Bliss, Texas. We were at McGregor Base Camp, New Mexico. Stood a lot of that up. Went to Fort Lewis, all over the U.S., pretty much everywhere. And we're training, not so much the active side. They take care of themselves pretty good on the Army and Marine Corps side. They take care of all their training and stuff pretty good. But the National Guard side, a lot of National Guard and Reserve Army, National Guard Reserve Air Force, National Guard Reserve Navy, and tens of thousands of active duty Air Force and Navy would come through our MOB stations throughout that, 8-9 years. And then got out and kind of did the TPU or the TPU thing where you're just doing a weekend. I did that from like 2010 until I got out. One more MOB in 2016, went down to Texas and trained a bunch of people. And that's the 5-minute version of 27 years.
That's awesome stuff, man. And I've said it before, but definitely say it again after hearing that completely through. Thank you so much, man, for everything you've done and for your service to keep boneheads like me out there able to do this kind of stuff out here. We sincerely appreciate it, man. Good stuff. Well,
and to use your thank you, by the way, and also like we need that. Hearing your intro, that's my very first note. I'm a weirdo. I got notes. Like my first note is, it's the holidays, not just military, veteran, first responder. Everybody, man, just call your people. A lot of people get low this time of year. So when you're not doing nothing, break your phone open and call somebody and talk to them for 20 minutes. You never know how much of an impact that can be to the people that you share your world with.
100%. One of the legs of the Romans Warrior Foundation is the Stop 22 tour. It's veteran artists that create music as a form of healing and in an effort to stop veteran suicide out there, stop having our brothers and sisters, losing the fight when they get back home here. And the whole motto there is that whole hashtag is until there are none. And, whether this airs before Christmas, before New Year's, or after, regardless, throughout the entire year, man, 100% reach out. Just make a phone call.
Absolutely.
Text is, if that's all you got, that's all you got. But seriously, come on, man. What is a phone call? To hear a voice and to just, crack some jokes, shoot some shit. What's even better is go see these people. Go over and say, hey, go out for a beer, go out for coffee, whatever. And just hang out. A little bit of time, man, can literally, in every essence of the word, save a life. And
absolutely.
That's paramount out there for sure.
It's such a big deal. I can't even express how much of a big deal that is. yeah, unfortunately, I've had buddies that never finished winning that fight.
Well,
Luckily, I don't have very many that did that, but it's such a, you wonder, man, if I'd have just called him. I was thinking about him, but I didn't call. If you're thinking about somebody, call him. And I probably need to go through my phone, saying that and call a couple people as well and be like, man, I hadn't talked to you in years. So, yeah, it's always a good idea.
hell yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. So you grew up in Michigan. Obviously, you've been around the outdoors plenty. Did you have a chance to still engage the outdoors when you were active? And obviously, when you get into the reserves, you got a lot more time on your hands there. But when did you first discover the kayak side of fishing?
Ooh, the kayak side. So growing up, my dad was a hunting, fishing guy. I mean, there's a deer head over there. Sorry if your vegan crowd is upset.
I don't think we
that
have
animal
those.
was treated humanely, I can promise. And he was delicious. That's going to go over great. Sorry, Gene.
You're fine. I'm pretty sure I don't have any vegans watching the show.
I'll try and keep it in check, dude. I'm sorry.
I'd like to have that problem, Nick. I'll tell you that.
Man. In any event, I grew up hunting and fishing. My dad is a hell of a fisherman. I wish I would have went fishing a lot more, to be honest. So all you young dudes out there, if your dad's going fishing, you don't want to wake your ass up and go fish.
No kidding.
But we did a lot of panfish, bluegill, crappie, perch type stuff. My dad, God bless him, I hooked him in the back of his head when I was a kid. Treble hook bait too. So from then on, I think that's why I fell in love with bobber fishing, because I just he was like, no, take this, dude. You can't hurt nobody. The kayak side though, I probably started that around 2018.
Nice.
I unfortunately for some, but I liked it. I had a wakeboard boat. So
oh, you're one of those guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But got rid of that and had a canoe, and that kind of ended up stinking. It was too much. My buddy bought it from me, but I got a couple kayaks from Walmart and just started going fishing a couple times a year, catching stocker trout. Because that's what I thought was in Colorado. I didn't know there was bass in Colorado. No kidding. And then talking to a buddy, I was like, man, I'm so tired of fishing for trout. Let's find something else. He's from Oklahoma. And he was like, cool. So we just Googled fish species in Colorado or something, and it showed smallmouth bass. And I was like, well, shoot, I haven't caught bass, and I couldn't even tell you when. A couple YouTube searches later, I was, at Sportsman's Warehouse buying Ned rigs.
Nice. Nice.
And went out to Pueblo on the kayak with my buddy Heath, good guy. I work with him. And what I didn't know is we went in the end of May.
Oh, okay.
And we hammered them.
Nice.
Nothing crazy, 13, 14s, 15s, but 30 of them.
Right.
That's all it took. I didn't know that was also the golden era
window,
for Pueblo. If you want to catch a fish from the 15th of May to the 15th of June, you can barely hit the water without a fish jumping in your pocket. So,
right.
So the very next weekend, actually, it wasn't the very next weekend. It was the weekend after. I was in the Colorado Kayak Fishing Club. I was in their bass tournament. It was their first virtual tournament. I think it was in 2020, maybe 2019.
Nice.
And I fished my first tournament 2 weeks after catching my first bass in Colorado.
That's
and it'd
awesome.
probably been 15 years since I caught a bass at all. And then, as you know, you just jump right down that rabbit hole. And
Yep.
now it's, PA 14s and all the rest.
35 rods and reels.
There's a couple of them for sure.
Yep. That's awesome, man. And yeah, I mean, the CKFC was the very first club that I saw when I started looking into stuff. And it just there's such a plethora of information and just different varied skill levels of anglers that are involved in that. And then there's just a large contingency of it that doesn't get involved in tournaments. That's just out there for the recreational side. There's still very avid fishermen and very solid fish anglers. They just don't partake in the tournament side of things. And so it was a really cool place to find there for sure. The only thing that kept me out in the very beginning was I was from my start. I've been a motor guy. I did everything I could to get my kayak as close to the deck of my boat as I could, because I had the two at the same time. So I was basically mimicking and looking at the gear and everything I had, and so the trolling motor that was key to the success for me, is getting hands free as quickly as possible.
Right.
So that was a.
Is that why you got a pedal in your kayak?
Yeah.
Do you stand up and hit the pedal and
I can't use the pedal standing up, but what I use the pedal for is I can do slight adjustments with it for steering.
Okay.
When I'm shadowing a bank, but my primary usage of it is I use it for spot lock. I can just with my foot smash that when I hook set. And I can also, if I've got heading mode on and I'm paralleling a bank, a shoreline, if I come across an area that I want to spend a little more time on, I can just bump down there and tap the prop button and turn it off.
Oh.
And spend a little bit more time, and then hit the prop button again, and it resumes its heading, and away I go. But yeah, I would love to be able to stand up and use the pedal. The problem with that pedal drive from Motor Guide is that the springs inside are so rigid that, dude, you really got to put some pressure on them to get it to go. And so what it creates is just you end up oversteering. I can see that if I tried to do that with it on the floorboard right now, I'm just setting myself up to throw myself in the damn drink. So it's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I got a Motor Guide, I think last year, in 22, at the end of 22, and I thought I was slick standing up when I hit the anchor button. Yeah. I almost sent myself. I landed on the front hatch of my boat.
Yep.
It's like, holy crap. Yeah, that thing will send you. Yeah, I like that idea of having those two buttons. They should just sell that button.
So what I'm looking into, I'm trying to find and talk to some guys that are smarter than me. There's you can easily, which is a lot of people that are smarter than me, but you can actually easily get Bluetooth activator switches, and it would just be a matter of being able to dial it in for the same function, whatever that frequency function is on that deal there. But yeah, because I could take that whole pedal system out there and just have the two almost like power pole switches.
Yeah, exactly.
For your feet that you just boop boop, left and right.
But one shuts off your trolling motor and one goes spot lock.
Yep, because that is really handy, being able to hook set and then with your foot just boom hit the anchor mode.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to hook set and then reaching for my remote to hit anchor mode, type thing. It's easy.
You ever lost a fish doing that?
No.
Oh, I have.
No, we're reaching for the remote.
Yeah, dinking with that remote while, got my arm all the way up on a buzzbait fish at Red Willow the second time we went. And that was an annoying day.
Yeah.
That whole day was when CKFC went back to Red Willow after CKB. I was like, oh yeah, I got something, and I got plenty of bites, and I didn't bring one of those fish into my kayak, and it was tears, I'm sure. I think I posted all my gear on Marketplace.
Invented a few cuss words.
It's like I'm gonna take up crocheting.
Competitive ping pong. That's where I'm heading.
Honky ball. There you go. We're down. If anybody remembers that movie. Yeah, but it's definitely grown from what it started from for me. It started very, very small. And yeah, CKFC was the only one that I found until this year. But the other thing with Colorado Kayak Fishing Club, what I wasn't ready for was how nice everybody was.
Right.
Like,
right.
One of my first memories, and I actually, it's a joke now, but Alex, he definitely, he saw me and was like, "Hey, what's that?"
Alex Rojas.
Yes.
Yep.
He goes pedaling. I'm paddling a Walmart kayak with two ugly stick 2-piecers in there.
On them.
Oh, buddy. Still didn't do too bad. I think I got like 28th or something out of 60. So I was still like, whatever, middle of the pack, baby, let's go. But yeah, he goes blasting by me and he's like, "Hey, how you doing so far?" Tell him. He's like, "Well, maybe just try this." Like during the tournament. He did it a bunch of times. Even this year, I did the multi-species series with them. And I didn't do any of that stuff before. So He's like in the middle of a tournament, like trying to help you out. I've seen him throw baits to people. People have thrown baits to me. And in the other series that I fish with you, Colorado Kayak Bassmasters, that doesn't happen as much.
No.
You paddle up on somebody, you might get a hello. They might be polite, but they're not happy to see you. Even if it's somebody that you like, they don't really care. They're never disrespectful.
Right. You got to wait till you get to the ramp. Then it's
yeah. The night before when we go to, usually we link up for those meals. That everybody's cool then, but not during tournament day, man. You could get people,
cool.
Hollering at you and be like, "Get out of here, dude. What are you doing? You saw me catch that fish." And it's just the CKFC. I mean, there's some of that, where people get a little cranky, but I was not ready for that. I'm a competitive person. I played baseball growing up, football, even into my adulthood. I'm not used to the other team. Like, "Hey, you want to try this bat?" Like, that's not real. So it was refreshing seeing that out of people.
And it's the kayak community, man. It's in general, the kayak community is just such a welcoming community. I mean, people know that if you compete in kayak tournaments, we're still grassroots. It's still fledgling. It's still young. So the more we can get more and more people, up to speed and enjoying their time out there, I mean, the better it is. But I just think in general, when you kayak, the kayak anglers themselves, just the makeup of those people is just a lot more welcoming of a community for sure. And I don't know if it's because we don't have $90,000 boats, loaded with $300 in gas. Maybe that's, the difference. We don't have as much stress involved with ours because we can pull away from a gas station and smile, but, so I don't know if that's the difference. But I've competed in both. I've competed in more boat tournaments than I have kayak tournaments. And I can say that, I had a select small handful of guys that I knew and that I trusted and I liked. The other guys that were out there, you had a respect, but there was not a lot of warm fuzzy going on whatsoever. That just wasn't there. But that's awesome, man. That's good stuff, and you hit the nail on the head for sure. CKB is definitely a more competitive, and it's there's more on the line there, and guys and gals they're there to go to work, man. When it's tournament hours, it's time to go, and you definitely. You definitely need to, they're not going to take so kindly if you just come stoodling up to the back of the boat.
No, well, and I didn't get to fit. I fished a couple tournaments, 2000. I can't remember if it was 19 or 20. I believe it was 19. I fished a couple in 20. I only got to fish like one in 22. Unfortunately, when I was in the reserves, that weekend lined up perfectly with every tournament we had.
Oh, damn.
Which is super annoying.
Yeah.
Right. And I won't divulge too far into that, but it's terribly annoying to ruin a weekend. Still did my thing. I'm a grown up, but still. So this year I was like, man, I'm gonna fish so much. I either hate fishing or I'm coming back for more. So I signed up for all 3 series this year.
Damn.
Well, the year we just had, 2023.
Yep.
Multi-bass and CKB. I didn't even know about CKB until I watched a podcast, oddly enough.
Nice.
It wasn't you, but everybody watched True Patriot Outfitters. He's the man. Shameless plug for you there.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
But it was with James Strawbridge, and he was like, look, there's no fat on our roster. If you come over here, you're coming over here because you want to fish against the best dudes. And I was cool with being a white belt that gets choked out all the time. I was just okay with it. Come to find out, it's not a different pool of guys.
No.
There's a couple guys that only fish CKB, yourself, and a handful of others. I don't even know if I would be able to speak to it. Yeah. Somebody be like, no, I fish them too, dude. You don't see me. Yeah. But it's all the same guys, but it's all of the dudes that could just win it. Yeah. So there's like 20 of them that will just beat you. Like, but all of them are that way. Like, yeah. So you're not only fighting half of the field for, Kayak Fishing Club, you're fighting the whole field in CKB for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got the Alex Rojas's coming after you, the Trev Stuckies, the Matt Flanagan, all the Matts.
All the
Matts,
right? Yeah.
All of the Matts will destroy you. Matt Collins, Matt Flanagan, Matt Arledge. I know I'm missing a Matt in there. That's the bad thing.
We got a lot of them about.
Eric and Leslie Ali, James Strawbridge, Gene Campbell, Jason Duong, and I know I'm forgetting Tim Van Sickler. And I know I'm forgetting a bunch of dudes, Chen Char, Michael Seymour, just all these guys that will just eat your lunch and take your money and then be like, hey, man, you want to hang out?
One of the new guys on the scene, too, that is, I'll tell you what, this dude's a flat out a hook, and that's Jason Lovell.
Man.
Jason can break down water in a hurry. He's a natural to it. And to me, what sets Jason apart is his mental game, man. When he's on, he's very zen with what's going on out there, and he gets in his zone and away he goes.
Yeah, he's a stick.
Yeah, through and through. No, you're right, man. There isn't a whole lot, going on with that group when it comes to, people that are easy to kind of bump off there. So when you place in the money at one of those, it feels really, really good, that you can, get out there and do something like that for sure.
Yeah, if you top 10 or top 5 one of those, you're doing work.
Yep.
Because I mean, even CKFC, I'll tell you what, you wanna fish against some guys and gals that will straight take your lunch. Go to the multi-species side.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, they've got some people over there that will just put it to you, and they will tell you exactly what they're doing when they're doing it during the tournament, and they will still wear you out.
For sure.
I mean, Lindsay is such a badass, man. And she'll take your lunch money. Just like Leslie Ali. They'll come in and smash you and smile and be like, haha. Like, but honestly want you to do good too, which is the weird part. And then you get all that crew that, like Ronnie Romero and some of those guys that are just Alex, or not Alex, Martinson. Sorry, dude, I forgot your first name.
Jeremy
But
Pierce, Josh
Jeremy
Hines.
Pierce.
Yeah, you could just go
Jeremy
down the
Pierce will
list.
beat you up with something he made. Like, that's how badass that dude is. That dude is out there like flint napping freaking arrowheads to kill a deer, but he's doing it with baits. Like, it's nuts, dude. And I can attest, his baits will catch a fish.
Yeah. And we've said this, time and time again. We're very fortunate in this state to have the clubs that we have and to have the level of anglers that we have out here. It's a fountain of information. It's a fountain of knowledge, and it certainly helps the situation because, I mean, not for nothing, the bass fishing out here is definitely, it's challenging for sure, especially when you can pull from an experience of other areas around the country, by comparison. And so, yeah, it does help when you have, just really, really good folks out there. One of the things that is a common denominator is the folks like yourself and like almost all the people we just mentioned there. It goes beyond just a casual like hobby, right? That kayak fishing is. It goes to more of a it's an obsession. And at the heart of this obsession is, there's a payoff. There's a give and take that comes from kayak fishing. It's at the root of the work we do at the TPO is to try to introduce, because we know for a fact medical, there's been enough medical studies on this. There's science data that supports it, that getting outdoors, engaging the outdoors in some fashion or form, specifically fishing, has been studied. There's a physiological and mental benefit that comes from that, and it can, for the average person, for the everyday individual, all the way to the to the most extreme cases. But in your opinion, what do you think? What is it? Just your competitive nature, or what do you think it was about kayak fishing that hooked you, man? Pardon the pun, but that got you locked in there.
For me, I don't know if it was as much like, yes, I'm very competitive and I want to win. And we just talked about all the great anglers we have, and all the ones that I forgot, I'm very sorry. I'll just plug them as I remember them. What I learned this year, because I fished a lot this year, 3 series in a couple different states, plus pre-fishing. And every weekend that I wasn't in a tournament or pre-fishing, I was just fishing for fun. What I like about the tournament side of it for guys that are maybe not wanting to do that, for that, what do we go, 6 to 8 hours, depending on the tournament, right?
Yep.
For that 6 to 8 hours, with very, very few exceptions, nothing else matters to me.
That's right.
I'm not texting. I'm not death scrolling, which is bad. Don't do that, guys. I do it too, but don't do that. I'm hyper focused on that one thing. And I think that is such an important thing for people. Just us as a species. Like, if you're not hyper focused on one thing and wanting to do it well, you need to find a hobby, something that can give you that. And I've had too many of them. And I landed into kayak fishing a couple years ago, and I just don't see that one going away. I spent so much money and time. And I mean, the time is probably the big thing. Like, money, that goes with, how much do you have to spare? If you got money for all the things in the world, great. But really, it's the time. Like, I was taking time off where everybody at my job was like, dude, you're taking a lot of time off, because I normally don't. I'm unfortunately that guy that lives in, or fortunately and unfortunately, I am a workaholic. I like to work. I get a lot of pleasure from it. I get a lot of satisfaction from it. But now I can find that in a hobby, which is super important, to me at least.
And I think it just to preface a little bit, to put a little side note to this, it only becomes expensive, in all honesty, really when you take it to another level and you really get into a lot of tournament angling. If your desire is to just get in a kayak and go out and fish, it can be extremely reasonable on the price. It's just when you do the stuff that you and I do that yeah, it can start, because I mean, you got travel, you got hotel, you got gear, you got food. That's where that stuff starts to go through the roof, for sure. But go ahead.
Yeah, and if you start throwing Vision 110s, you're like, dude, what? And then you hear like a guy whoops your butt with the same bait, or won't do them, and it's just like, and that person knows who he is. If he watches that, he'll know exactly who I'm talking about. He's like, I'm not buying that shit. And he goes out and smashes everybody on a jerk bait. But yeah, it's just, I dove down that rabbit hole, which I tend to do. I have done I did long range shooting, like precision rifle stuff. I got into cars for a while. You want to talk about expensive. Just being poor. Buy a car and then go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it fast. You'll go broke chasing that. I definitely spent way too much on that. I was actually happy to get that thing out of my garage, as cool as it was.
Nice.
And then I filled it up with a bunch of kayaks. Like, who knows? And a motor, and rods and reels and baits, and half of it do you even need? Like you said, you can keep it pretty cheap. I could have been on my Walmart boat with a bucket of worms and some minnows and probably caught more fish in the time.
Oh, for sure. Especially out here, live bait, definitely trumps all.
Sure.
Well, that's awesome, man. And that's, I found myself when I got out there that it was, like you said, when you get that focus going, there is a benefit to just taking that time and getting some clarity. Now when I go out, after doing this for as many years as I have, and only a couple of years now in the kayak, but even though, I'm settled in now with my setup, that now I make some of the best decisions, and I can think about things clearly when I'm out there, especially when I'm practicing. During pre-fishing time, I don't do a ton of fishing during pre-fish. I get a little feedback from the fish, but most of the time I'm just scanning and looking at things, and I'm trying to pick up structure and stuff that won't change or move on me on tournament day. So I end up, it's just a lot of clarity, man. It's peace of mind. There you go. Now you're back.
We back?
Yep.
Yeah, I just saw it reset.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I found in that area there, and it creates that necessary good distraction and lets you stay focused on something else that is actually good for you. It's not mind numbing whatsoever.
Right, and for me it was also, I'm not thinking about the $100 I just put in my gas tank. I'm not thinking about any of it. It's just right here, right now. Yep. This is what we're doing. And it's when you go up into the mountains or something and you do something and your phone doesn't work, and you throw your phone in your truck and just leave it there, and you get that like ghost vibration in your leg. Like everybody knows what I'm talking about, you addicted people. Yeah. And you're like reaching, and you're like, oh, and then after an hour of that, 2 hours, 3 hours, you're just not thinking about it anymore. You're not worried about all that crap. And it works so much better. And then also all the anglers that we talked about, like once you realize, and I realized it this year, once you realize that, Nick's not fishing against Gene.
Right.
Nick's fishing against Nick.
Right.
And once you learn that, like, man, and I mean really learn it, not just say it, right? Because I feel like I've said that before, but it didn't mean nothing. I still looked at the leaderboard and went, I want to crush that dude.
Right.
But, that just comes with being competitive, but I don't mean it in a bad way, but
sure.
It's just, when you start competing against yourself, you'll start learning so much more about fishing. And that's when I really got hooked. Like, I'm looking forward to chasing them through the ice. So get ready. I'm going to invite you on an ice trip, Gene. And
Hey, you can, I don't know if you can see it behind me or not, man, but I got a couple ice rods back here.
dude, that's all you need.
You know,
I got the rest.
The mothership for the mothership company over Blackfish and All Terrain Tackle is Clam Outdoors.
Huh.
And I didn't realize that basically my stipend and so forth that I work with, with and the stuff that I work with through Blackfish and All Terrain actually applies to clam as well. And so I was sitting here like, well, shoot, there's actually I've besides the ice suit that I've had in my mind would make a fantastic cold water tire in my kayak because it's got built-in flotation, along with the fact that it's completely waterproof, going to keep me, should something happen, I'm going to stay on top of that ice. I'm going to be able to get myself where I need to be or on top of the water to get to shore. So I've been thinking about that stuff, but then I was like, I need some vertical drop light gear. So I bought these ice rods for my vertical fishing, just, for 4 pound, 6 pound test stuff. I'm just going to, off the side of the yak, because a 6-7 foot rod is just too unwieldy when I'm trying to vertically drop on stuff. So yeah, but then I started thinking I probably should go ice fishing at least once. Where do you go? Where do you go?
I'm pretty new. I've only been a handful of times, like 3-4 times, and I've always went to 11 Mile.
Okay.
I don't mess around with that 3-inch of ice stuff. I don't do that. I am too old. I'm too fat, and I don't move like I used to move. So if I go in the water, there's a solid chance, like, just kick my face down under and kick me under the ice and just let me go, man. Like, because I'm probably not getting out. I still got some fight left in me, dude, but like,
I'm a Nick Pop.
yeah, right. Like, whatever, dude, the pike will eat me. But what I found, and this will go for you too, if you end up trying it, that hand auger thing, this crap.
Yeah.
Don't do that, dude.
My affinity to motors.
Brother, we used to do that in growing up. I loved ice fishing growing up. That was my jam. Me and my dad, we had this little tent, and you put me and my dad in there, and he would be drinking coffee and probably some beers and something else, and a couple lanterns in there, and we would fish for hours and hours just catching crappie, bluegill, perch. So I really do like ice fishing, but I hate drilling holes, man. Once you get like an electric auger, it makes it so much better. You just drop a hole and you're fishing. It doesn't take 15 minutes of sweat on your knees, blitzing through 22 inches of ice. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely going. I know Chen does a little bit of ice fishing as well. I don't know if any other dudes in the group. I think a couple guys go out every once in a while.
Eric and Leslie are just fiends when it comes to ice fishing.
I feel like that dude could catch fish
in a bathtub.
I don't think it needs water. Like,
he pulls it out of his beard. Hey, look, a fish.
Yeah, but what's bad is it's probably going to be his wife handing him the fish. Because she is, and I've never really talked to her, and I've only talked to Eric a handful of times. But I went up to him at a tournament, and it was a bait that I knew he used. I was like, dude, I have swung and caught and had fish on and lost all of them on this bait. What am I doing? And he was like, oh, well, you take the Trocar 746 and you rig that on, but you could try the 649. Meanwhile, he doesn't know. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm hoping to Google it and remember it right. But again, it just goes to more of that where, he's such a nice dude. And then his wife, stays in the truck because it's cold and finishes her coffee and comes out and pretty much smacks the whole field around. And
the champ can be ruthless. There is no doubt about it.
Dude, the last tournament she fished, she got, I think, second. She wasn't even going to upload her fish, is what she said at the end.
Right.
She caught 4 fish. She's like, it's not even a limit. I'm not even gonna put those in. And she almost won. So yeah, just
For real.
there's so many good anglers here. And yeah, I could see Eric just living on the ice. He looks like he belongs on the ice, like ready to go.
He's an avid ice fisherman for sure. Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys, but front range ice. Me personally, I just don't trust it. We get too much sun down here, and it's powerful and it melts the stuff. I worked in Larimer County for a couple of years on the Larimer County Dive Rescue Team, and ice rescue was a major part of what we did up there for people going through. And one of the things you do is you study the ice that's up there, and I knew enough that would tell me that every time I'd see people out on ice down in the flatlands here, I'm just like, yeah, nah, dog, I'll be waiting. I'll watch the pager and see if we get a call. I would literally, as I would drive past these things, I would try to make mental notes about last seen points, about where I saw these people and where they were at, just because I didn't trust it. And I was just like, But yeah, if you get up in the mountains there, you can get up into some colder temperatures. It builds ice up for a while, and that could be fun. Yeah, well, man, I'm down.
Great, let's do it. The ice for me, like Antero, I know is doing okay right now. 11 miles still a little sketchy for me. But there was people fishing Pueblo last year on the ice, and Pueblo does not fully cap ever. Yeah, no. At least I've never seen it. No. Like, it's going to be so nice this weekend. I'm thinking about getting the kayak out for one last trip.
Dude.
It's supposed to be like 54 with a 10-mile-an-hour wind at Pueblo this weekend. Do I say what day it is? I don't even know what day it is.
Today is Wednesday.
The something, though. The 16th? No, that's Saturday.
Today is Wednesday the 13th.
The 13th.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
Yeah. For sure.
I was my afternoon, and right now it is snowing and sleeting, and the roads are getting icy. So my whole drive home was just crazy with slippery weather. So
we don't have that up here, thank goodness.
No, you guys didn't get anything down there?
No, not unless it's happened since you and I got online. I don't think.
Oh man, yeah, it was bad coming home. Like there's probably 3 inches of snow out there right now.
Ooh, you guys can keep it down there. You keep it.
Well, and last Saturday I went up to Ice Fest at Shields, and the drive was sketchy from the Springs. I got up there and there was nothing. I was like, man, this is crazy. This is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Well, good stuff, man. So, the whole piece of the purpose of what we try to do with this stuff, man, is just showing folks out there that there's a reason why we chose fishing and why we actually chose kayak fishing. I literally sold off my dream boat that I had. I had waited a lot of years to get into a position that I was in with a brand new bass boat, and she was only not even a real full season, because my first year after getting it, the first year that we had, COVID, kicked in, so it killed my season. And then the next season after that, we were moving back to Colorado, so I lost the entire summer there of that. So we never really had a full season out of that rig. Had plenty of full seasons out of the old boat, but there was a reason why we jumped into the kayak side of things, and why we wanted to offer that as an opportunity for our nation's warfighters and the warriors inside our community to find that clarity, to find that peace of mind, and just give them an experience that quite frankly is unlike anything else they had. So that whole MO of bringing it there. Do you have, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here, what would you tell, let's say, a fellow veteran out there about who's never gone kayak fishing? What would you, any piece of advice you would give them?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a different experience. I've got a little John boat, tiller drive kind of thing, and I get so much more out of the kayak than that. The only thing that's better with that is it goes 20.
Right.
A
little faster.
But especially without the motor, and I know I'm bumming you out right now. I know. But when when the sun's just coming up and the sky's looking good, you get that orange hue and the lake is just glass and you're just either slowly kicking or paddling along and there's nothing else around you.
Yeah.
And that's it, dude. Granted, catching fish is fun too, but those 15 minutes, half an hour before the tournament starts, and it's go time. When we do our launch, when it's okay, cool, launch. 30 minutes lines in. That's the perfect time, man. So any of those guys, like, don't wake up late. Get out there, hit the sun. That's the part that you'll be like, woo, there it is. Even staying late and watching the sun go down. And then other than that, just do it. Don't wait for anybody. If it's something that you've been thinking about doing or you just want to try, especially veterans, reach out to Gene.
Oh yeah.
And like, I know you will put people in a boat. I remember being in that conversation with you in Nebraska with the Muses, where you were trying to find boats for a guy.
Yep.
I remember I was like, I got a kayak, send it. If I'm not in a tournament, take my PA-14. I don't care. And then the Muses ended up hooking you up. So
I was going to say, we had enough guys. You guys all jumped up, and we had enough boats. If I would have had a trailer that I could bring them over, I just didn't have a rig that was, at the time, I still had that dual jet ski trailer. And so it was loaded up with everything that I had, at the given time. So that was our challenge. But yeah, man, that's the other thing, is that the community is so wide open. So while you can get that peace of mind and that solidarity from it, there's always somebody out there that's ready to go. I think it's so cool watching guys will say, hey, I'm heading to Pueblo on Saturday. Hit me up if you want to meet up. And usually it'll be like one or two guys will be, hey, I'll see you there. What ramp you going to?
Yep.
And that's the other thing, is that just talk about a connection, and it becomes an extension of that family piece, that you'll always find somebody out there that that's willing to hook up with you and shoot the breeze. And it's real easy for two kayaks to fish a point, and fish stuff. It's not as bulky as a boat, so guys can share a lot of stuff out there. It's definitely a ton of fun with that. Well, listen, man, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your week here to stop in after work, and share some stories here, talking fishing, talking your experience. If you believe it or not, man, we're almost closing in on an hour here, so this is it's easy to do when anglers get together.
Yeah, I see that in the top corner, and man, I got nowhere to be. So if you want to keep going, you just tell them I'm down. We'll get weird. Oh, Josh Gardner. If I don't say Josh Gardner, he's probably gonna be like, dude, not even me. Come on, bro.
We'll get Josh on
that's
here.
the one.
I'm sure he'll be on the podcast sooner or later.
Oh man, what a stick that guy is.
Yeah.
All of them, man. There's not very many in either group that. I mean, man, there's some guys that can just flat out fish, and that's what I like, is it's very rarely been an issue. I'm an older guy. I don't have a lot of patience for pardon my French, like dipshitiuses.
Douchebags.
Yeah, I just don't have a lot of patience for it. And you've never seen this side, but I'll immediately like, well, let's just poke. Well, maybe you've seen it a little bit. But tell you what, it gets turned up if I get annoyed. Especially on the water. I'm like, dude, come on, man. It's fishing. Like, calm down. But I mean, everybody in the kayak side has been super cool. Yeah. I just and I don't see a lot of that with the boat side. I hear the stories. And I mean, we can get weird right now. Like, live scope or no live scope. Like, we like, that's the newest thing that is like murdering puppies or whatever. Like, you can get
the big stuff going on now on all the YouTubes is the secrets the pros don't tell you. The pro fishing industry has hidden this from
the lies from the MLF. Like,
bro, I touched on it on our unpinned our little sample there. It's like, I'm sorry, dude. If you're just now discovering how expensive pro fishing is and you're fishing on the Elite Series, you're an idiot. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
shut
sorry.
up. Like,
You clearly have figured this out. You had to have known it before you got into it. And if you didn't, you deserve what you get, dog. I'm
right.
sorry.
And I
It's
mean,
like,
I get it. I watched that Jacob Faust video,
oh
and
yeah. Same.
it came across, if you hear it right, it comes across like, oh, okay, yeah, that's weird. But then also like, hey, dog, you're fishing the elites. Like,
Yep.
also look
How'd you
outside.
get here?
If there's $100,000 bass boat sitting in your garage,
You're doing all right.
well,
Yeah.
not only that, but just like, do you think it was going to get less expensive?
Right. Right. Man, I mean, Starbridge and I were talking about that. It's like we don't even do our local stuff. I've been trying to get Jim to join in on the All American to drive, to one of those All Americans, and he's a pen and paper, and he starts scratching it out. Is it worth my travel time?
Right.
Because his time's worth money, and so, yeah. How do you? There's no possible way. So it's. I don't
Luckily,
know.
I'm too dumb to think like that, and I will be at the All American Classic in May. I will be there.
Dude, we should have at least 20 anglers from Colorado should be representing there.
You'll have more than that.
I was going to say it's open to 30, but you're going to see something this year that you'll notice that happens, and I mean no disrespect to anybody. This is just part of the natural attrition. Is right now November, December, January, everybody's all gung ho.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the time end of April starts closing in 2-3 weeks before, you're going to start seeing guys dropping like flies. People are like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to make it, because something comes up. Life gets in the way, work. They decide they're not really that committed to it. But
My wife said, yeah.
I hope that people take the time for this, because this is going to be an experience. I promise you that from behind the scenes. We're trying to make this an event. We've got some key players that are going to be showing up to this thing, that are really going to make this an experience more than just the fishing. Fishing, yes, that's fantastic. That's going to be awesome. The club stuff, the best team. We're looking to see if we can bring the team trophy back to Colorado. All that big stuff. But there's going to be so much more going on in that Clinton, Missouri area there during our time there. It's going to be definitely worth your trip. Come hang out with guys at Airbnb, stay at the Bucksaw Resort, whatever. It's going to be a blast for sure.
Yeah, I'll be bending your ear. Well, maybe not your ear, but I'll DM you. I still need to get my lodging going. So
Yeah.
I almost did it when the before the dates had changed. So I'm glad I moved that out. But yeah, I'm definitely looking at doing some sort of Airbnb, Verbo, something like that. Getting some guys together.
Awesome.
So that should be fun.
Good stuff.
But yeah,
Listen,
I will. Come hell or high water, I'm gonna be there. So
that'll be awesome. Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun, and we should definitely, hopefully this year. I tried to put something together last year, trying to get all the Colorado guys to like go out to dinner or something like that. But by the time it got down there and on the evenings, everybody kind of poo-pooed out, and so I was like, yeah, whatever. I guess I'll go with other guys from Missouri. We'll go hang out over there.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can get something together. That would be a ton of fun for sure. Well, listen, man, thank you so very much again for taking time out. You and I can chat after we roll out of this. So after the exit plays there, just hang tight, and I'll come back with you. Folks at home, make sure to smash that subscribe button, man, for the True Patriot Outfitters. The follows and the likes, those are helpful. That subscribe at YouTube is the big one. That's the one we're really aiming for this season 4. So share the channel out there if you like what we got going. If you don't like what we got going, leave a comment. Let us know if there's a particular episode you'd like to see us that falls in line with what we do. Throw it out there, man. Hit us up on a DM. We'd absolutely, if there's a special guest you'd like us to interview, anything along those lines, definitely that subscribe button is the way to get that done. Nick, thanks again, brother. We appreciate it.
Gene, thank you so much, man. Cheers, everybody.
All right, folks, tie lines. Be safe.